The shocking truth behind Jeremiah's tears, what he knew before Babylon's dark invasion.
Jeremiah stood at the edge of town, tears streaming down his face like silver raindrops, as a dark cloud loomed over the horizon.
It wasn't just any day, this was the calm before the storm, the moment before chaos unraveled. He had seen things, terrifying shadows creeping through the night, whispers that tangled around his mind, and the haunting cries of those who once stood beside him. They carried a truth that weighed heavy on his soul, a truth that would spill into the streets. The air was thick with dread, pressing down on his chest like a crushing weight. Odd things had been happening lately. The old church bells rang at nonsensical hours, sending villagers into a frenzy, and the crows cawed in a peculiar harmony, as if they were sharing secrets only the damned could understand. Jeremiah could feel it in the pit of his stomach, a gnawing fear that twisted like a knife. He was the only one who knew about the darkness in Babylon, what it craved and how it would come. He could almost hear it beckoning him, a siren's call that pulled him closer to the edge of oblivion, but tonight was different. As darkness began to swallow the town whole, he felt an urgent pull toward the forest, the heart of his dread. Shadows danced among the trees like restless spirits, and he dared not ignore the feeling creeping up his spine. What lay beyond? What had he uncovered that pushed him to the brink of madness? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash the like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Just when Jeremiah thought he was alone in this impending doom, he heard a faint rustle behind him. He turned, heart racing, to see a figure cloaked in darkness, looming just out of reach. Their silhouette twisted and shifted, becoming one with the night. "You have no idea what you're about to unleash," the figure whispered, voice low and cracked like dry leaves underfoot. The forest seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the truth to break free. Was it too late? As the figure stepped closer, Jeremiah's mind raced with questions. Who was this mysterious stranger? What did they know about his burden? And what horror was about to descend upon them all? The chill of fear settled deep in his bones, but alongside it, a flicker of determination sparked. He would confront whatever came next, even if it meant uncovering the shocking truth hidden in his own tears. The figure's presence crackled with tension. Jeremiah could barely comprehend their words, lost in a whirlwind of confusion and fear. He took a step back, instinct kicking in. Who are you?" His voice trembled, sounding smaller than he felt. The stranger's cloak billowed like a storm, but their face remained obscured. "You think your tears are all you carry? There is a darkness coming that transcends your sorrow," they replied, leaning in closer, as if the mere act of speaking could summon the shadows around them. Jeremiah swallowed hard, the lump in his throat growing as reality crashed down on him. The forest felt alive, a collective heartbeat echoing in the rustling leaves and snapping twigs. He steeled himself, his resolve building. "I can't just stand here. I have to know what you're talking about." In response, the figure stepped back slightly, drawing back the hood just enough for a glimmer of pale skin and wild hair to escape its confines. "Then you must venture deeper. There's a place hidden within your nightmares. There, the truth waits." The world around him darkened as the clouds rolled in thicker, choking the last remnants of light. Jeremiah looked towards the path that led deeper into the heart of the woods. Shadows seemed to beckon him, swirling with whispers, each promising revelation but drenched in peril. "I won't let it consume me," Jeremiah declared, his heart pounding with fear and fierce determination. He turned to the figure, searching for reassurance in their gaze. But their expression was inscrutable, like an unreadable code. "Will you come with me?" The figure hesitated, weighing the choice like a stone on their heart. "The journey is yours alone. I can guide you to the threshold, but nothing beyond that." Jeremiah took a deep breath, acknowledging the finality in their words. "Then let us go." With a swift nod, the figure faded into the shadows, leading Jeremiah along the moonlit path.
Each step warped time, as if they were crossing into a realm where reality twisted into nightmares. His breaths came heavier, fear mingled with exhilaration. The trees loomed higher, their forms grotesque, gnarled limbs reaching out like skeletal hands.
Up ahead, a peculiar glow beckoned him. It pulsed like a heartbeat, frantic and insistent.
Jeremiah stumbled upon a clearing where the air vibrated with energy. At its center was an altar made of dark stone, slick and shimmering with unknown liquid.
"What is this place?"
he asked, awe and dread curling his tongue. The heart of Babylon's curse, the figure whispered from a distance, as if already retreating.
"You must face it, what you find will shatter you or save you." The moment hung heavy in the air. Jeremiah's pulse thundered in his ears.
The glowing substance on the altar bubbled softly, drawing him closer. It felt alive, a pulse of darkness that matched the tremors in his chest.
Questions spiraled in his mind, clashing like waves against the shore. What would he find?
As he reached out, the surface shimmered, collapsing into swirling wisps. Visions erupted, flashes of his past, of laughter turning to cries. He could almost hear the echo of the townsfolk's whispers and the weight of their pain crashing down upon him like a tidal wave.
"Jeremiah!"
A shrill voice pierced through, snapping him from his reverie. He jerked back and noticed the figure had reappeared, urgency etched into their features.
"They're coming. You must decide now." A chill raced down his spine.
He'd come seeking the truth, but now he felt the immensity of the burden weighing against his spirit.
Could he confront it? Would he embrace a destiny fraught with danger? The night roared with an unsettling energy, whispers filling the air like dark confessions. As the ground trembled beneath him, he knew the moment had come. But was he ready to face the darkness? He hesitated, breath caught in his throat, just as the shadows began to close in what awaited him in that abyss. Would he emerge with answers or be consumed by the very darkness he sought to understand?
Jeremiah stood at the brink of the altar, the eerie glow pulsating like a living heart, illuminating the dread on his face. His heart raced as shadows danced closer, edging around him like predators waiting for a moment of weakness. The figure's warning echoed in his mind, "You must decide now." A shiver crept down his spine. He turned to where the figure had stood, but they had faded back into the darkness. Panic surged through him, he was alone in this ominous clearing, filled with swirling memories and doubt. The visions had come so fast, painful fragments of laughter before pain washed over them. He was tormented by the realization that he might have played a part in the sorrows of those he cared for. "Jeremiah," another voice cried out, almost lost in the growing chaos of the night. He recognized the voice, a voice filled with fear and love. "Help us!" His mother's visage materialized in the shadows, her eyes wide with desperation. But the love on her face twisted, morphing into anguish. "Please, you have to save us." This was not real. Jeremiah shook his head, trying to banish the apparition. But the weight of those memories hung in the air, clinging to him like thick smoke. He felt the panic rise within him, a vice tightening around his chest, squeezing the breath from his lungs. "Fight it!" he urged himself, recalling the figure's chilling words. He knew what he had to do, even as the darkness swirled menacingly around him. He stepped up to the altar, willing himself to confront whatever lay ahead. The bubbling liquid shifted, coiling upwards, as if inviting him to dive into the well of his buried pain. With trembling fingers, he reached out. The moment his skin touched the slick substance, it surged, pulling him in. Cold enveloped him, and he felt himself falling through a void, where time stretched and warped around him, a moment that felt endless. Suddenly, he was back in the town square, midday sun shining brightly. Laughter echoed around him, children played, vendors shouted. It was a fleeting peace that made his heart ache. Then, the atmosphere shifted, shadows creeping in from the edges, distorting laughter into cries. Panic gripped him as he recognized the scenes, the fateful day of the fire when everything he knew unraveled. "No!" he screamed, but his voice was lost in the torrent of memories. Across the square, there was a familiar silhouette, flames licking their heels. His little sister, Angela, her golden curls bouncing as she ran. "Angie, stop!" he shouted, desperation clawing at his throat. But she kept running, laughing, unaware of the peril trailing her.
The flames rose higher, now engulfing his vision, sizzling at his skin. Jeremiah. The figure returned, their eyes locked on his. You must face the truth. The darkness feeds on your fear. He struggled against the tide of burning sorrow. The night, the shadows, they all took the shape of his regrets, his failures. Every choice he made came crashing in, suffocating him. Fight it! He yelled, adrenaline igniting his will to resist. With a sudden clarity, he realized he was not just reliving the past, he was the one scoring the edges of its pain. Maybe the truth he sought wasn't just in the darkness around him, but within his own choices. He had to confront not only the shadows outside but the demons he carried inside. Enough! He roared, breaking the chains of despair. Jeremiah needed to stand his ground. No more running, no more hiding. The chaos began to fade as he clutched at the flickering remnants of light. But just as he thought he grasped it, a voice seeped through the shadows, heavy and dark. You can't escape, Jeremiah. Not until all is revealed. The air around him thickened, and the altar rumbled beneath his feet. What lay ahead could either liberate him or condemn him deeper into darkness. He felt the gravity of what he had to confront coming in waves, crashing over him, with heart pounding like a war drum. He could barely breathe. Would he face the truth, or would he be swallowed whole by the very darkness he sought to understand? The moment had come, but would he emerge as a savior or as a prisoner of his own past? Jeremiah's pulse raced as he stood at the altar, confronted by a whirlwind of emotions. The shadows twisted and slithered, their whispers becoming a cacophony in his ears. Face it, they chanted, echoing the relentless urge of the figure's voice. Each passing moment felt like a dagger to his heart, a reminder of everything he had lost. He forced himself to stand tall, but the weight of the past threatened to crush him. His little sister's laughter radiated through the darkness, taunting him. What if I just hadn't let her go? The thought taunted him, echoing like an unending refrain. The altar trembled beneath him, its surface bubbling and swirling, forcing him to focus. I didn't save you, Angie, I failed. The thought lashed at his sanity, but a spark ignited a fierce anger towards the tormentor lurking in the shadows. He would not let it win. Enough! He shouted, his voice rising above the clamor. I will face the truth. With that declaration, he plunged his hands into the bubbling liquid once more. The cold embraced him, fierce and unyielding, dragging him deeper into the ocean of his memories. Of this time, the whirlwind settled into clarity. He was swept away from the town square, thrust back into a smaller, darker space, his childhood bedroom. The walls were adorned with drawings of superheroes and smiles, but the air was suffused with mourning. It was here, on that fateful day, that he had received the call. Jeremiah, get home now. His mother's voice rang in his ears, frantic and desperate. The words unspooled the thread of reality. He could see himself, a boy of 10, frozen and confused. He remembered the gaze on his mother's face, full of panic, full of love. What is happening? He'd asked, but she only shook her head, tears streaking her cheeks. A deeper truth lurked beneath the surface of his memories, a truth he had avoided in those years filled with pain and resentment. Think, Jeremiah. He urged himself. You know what you did. Suddenly, images flooded him. His friends from school. They were innocent bystanders at the fire, but were they really innocent? It was the reality he had buried, their part in the scheming, a twisted game of betrayal leading up to that moment. He had blindly trusted them when he should have seen their darkness, their eagerness for chaos. And it had cost him everything. No, no! He cried. Not like this. The realization clawed at his mind. It felt as if he were being torn apart, pulled in every direction by those who had suffered because of him. He had cast aside his worries for friendship, ignoring the warning signs. That day, he hadn't just lost Angela, he had opened the gates for a darkness that sought to swallow him whole. Jeremiah. The figure's voice broke through the fog of his despair. What will you do with this truth? He gasped at the weight of the question. Deep inside, he felt the power surge, mingling with grief, a need to turn pain into purpose. I will stop it. I won't let it take anyone else.
But as he started to pull together his resolve, the shadows grew chaotic, thrumming with energy. They twisted and contorted, and the altar erupted once more, expelling darkness that chilled the air and clouded his thoughts. "You're not ready, Jeremiah," the voice boomed, echoing off unseen walls. He was thrust back into the clearing, the altar now pulsing like a heartbeat, alive with a sinister energy, and Jeremiah realized, uncovering the truth was just the beginning. Before he could breathe, a flash of light broke through the darkness, illuminating a dark figure behind him, inches away. He turned, heart racing, to find a familiar face staring back at him, a wry smile spreading. "You still don't truly understand, do you?" The dread gripped him tighter as the echoes of the past began to morph into something he couldn't comprehend. The revelation had only begun. What did this figure really want? What truth lay still hidden? Jeremiah was left questioning everything, standing in disbelief as shadows closed in around him. Would he confront this new danger, or would the darkness ensnare him once again? Jeremiah's eyes widened as he registered the face before him. It was Lucas, his childhood friend, the one who should have stood by him through the darkest times. The smile was disconcerting, a mask of camaraderie that veiled deeper intentions. "You don't even see it, do you?" Lucas continued, his voice smooth like poison. "You think your struggle is over? It's only beginning." Every nerve in Jeremiah's body ignited with a mix of anger and fear. "What are you talking about?" he demanded, his voice shaky yet resolute. Lucas took a step closer, the shadows wrapping around him like a cloak. "You haven't realized the truth about that day, have you? You made a choice, His words dripped with contempt. "And choices have consequences." Images blurred, a rush of memories flooding his mind. He could almost taste the smoke of that fateful fire, feel the heat licking at his skin. They had been playing, laughing, unaware of the chaos brewing right under their noses. "It wasn't just me," Jeremiah shouted, desperation clawing at his throat. "They were all there. We all made mistakes." Lucas's eyes glinted in the dim light, a cruel spark of empathy that felt anything but genuine. "Mistakes? You call them that? Let us be honest. You were the leader. You could have stopped it, but you didn't. You left them. You left her." Jeremiah staggered back. His heart felt like lead, too heavy to lift. He had known it, deep down, that he carried that weight. "Stop, just stop." But Lucas pressed on. "You think facing it will bring you peace? You're only uncovering what's been buried. The darkness isn't just in your past. It's here, flashy and alive, ready for its next meal." The altar throbbed beneath Jeremiah's feet, pulsing with an almost sentient rhythm, throbbing like a heart in turmoil. He felt the energy shift, a wave of dread washing over him. The shadows, once just whispers, now roared around him, more alive than ever. "What do you want from me?" Jeremiah's voice broke, torn between rage and an aching need for understanding. Lucas stepped forward, closer still, his smile widening. "What do I want? For you to embrace the truth, my friend. You can't avoid it anymore. You're tied to both the light and the darkness. Face it, or be consumed." With that, the dark figure twisted, his form merging back into the shadows. The heat of his presence lingered, but the remained fire felt colder. Jeremiah stumbled back against the altar, hands shaking, battling between the world he'd known and this new reality. A surge of power coursed through him, energized by determination and dread. He clenched his fists, breathing heavily. "No!" he roared, his voice breaking through the encroaching chaos. "I won't back down this time. I will break this cycle." But just as his words surged forth, a wrenching scream echoed in the distance, slicing through the turmoil. It felt too familiar, too haunting. He fumbled, glancing toward the sound, unsure if he dared to step away from the altar and confront whatever lay beyond. His heart was racing, mind reeling. The shadows shimmered ominously, and from the depths, a silhouette appeared, both enticing and terrifying. "Come closer, Jeremiah, your reckoning awaits." Every instinct screamed at him to run, yet he felt tethered to that echo, to the call of something he couldn't yet understand. Who was in trouble now?
And what would he find if he followed the sound? Would he dare? As the echo faded into darkness, a fierce resolve settled in his chest. This storm wasn't over. And now, facing the figure in the shadows, he realized he had just scratched the surface. Jeremiah breathed deeply, calling on everything within him. "I'm coming," he whispered, unsure of what awaited him. Would he find redemption or be swallowed whole? The chilling embrace of uncertainty tightened once again as he took a step toward the voice, unsure of what lay ahead. Would he confront his true fate or succumb to the darkness he so desperately sought to escape? Jeremiah stumbled forward, the heaviness in his chest replaced by adrenaline. Each step felt labored, as if the very shadows were reaching out, trying to pull him back into the darkness. The echoes of that haunting scream still rang in his ears, drawing him toward an uncertain fate. As he moved deeper into the gloom, the world around him melted away. Shadows danced violently along the walls, twisting and contorting as if imbued with a life of their own. The air grew thick, a suffocating miasma wrapping around him, smothering his thoughts, and then he saw her, a figure collapsed on the ground. It took Jeremiah a moment to process who he was looking at, though time seemed to stretch painfully thin. His heart stuttered in his chest. Maya! The name escaped his lips like a prayer, a flickering candle in an abyss of darkness. She lay there, and even from a distance, he could see the pain etched across her features' beautiful face. Her hair was disheveled, and the dirt on her once gleaming attire clung to her like a grim reminder of past joys now lost. Maya! He shouted, urgency transforming his desperation into a steely edge as he rushed toward her. What happened? Are you okay? But she didn't respond. Instead, her eyes opened slowly, blank and distant. A chill slithered down Jeremiah's spine as he saw something dark lurking behind her gaze, something that spoke of despair deeper than he could bear. Jeremiah, she whispered hoarsely, a tremble in her voice that shot through him like ice. You shouldn't have come. You don't understand. What do you mean? Panic swelled inside him. There was no place for confusion now. He needed clarity. He needed her to stay strong. I'm here. I'm going to help you. She shook her head weakly, struggling to raise her hand toward him. You can't help me. Not here. Not anymore. The shadows seemed to close in tighter, thickening the air around him. Jeremiah felt a wave of dread wash over him, but there was no backing down now. They're coming, she rasped. The darkness, it's hungry. We are connected, Ja. You need to embrace it or it will consume us both. The weight of her words threatened to crush him as the shadows began to swirl around them, rising and falling like a tempest. Why can't you just their ISNT time? She shouted, a burst of clarity bursting through the fog. You have to face your demons. Only then can we break free. Something in him snapped. I didn't ask to be a part of this. I didn't want. Every choice has led you here. She cried out fiercely. You have to own it. Face the truth of that day. Otherwise, her voice faltered, eyes drifting somewhere just beyond him. Before Jeremiah could press her further, the shadows shifted, writhing like serpents ready to strike. He staggered back, instincts flaring as an inhuman growl ripped through the darkness. Fear crept into his veins, paralyzing him for a split second before he shook it off. Maya! He yelled, heart racing. Fight it! You have to hold on. But the shadows thrummed, vibrating with a pulse that synchronized with her fading breath. The environment darkened even more, becoming a swirling vortex of despair. Before him, a larger shadow began to materialize, a figure emerging from the ether, monstrous and daunting. Come to me, Jeremiah, it coaxed, its voice echoing with a sinister edge. Your reckoning is at hand. You must decide. Heart pounding, Jeremiah's instincts clashed violently with the face of his old friend, the protector now turned predator, and the girl who had turned into a mere shadow. Had he truly entered a place where life and death intertwined? Jeremiah felt a surge of something deep and powerful, then an awakening. He didn't have to be afraid. He could stand against it. But as he locked eyes with the looming figure, he realized the choice before him wasn't just about the past. It was about facing the truths that would rise from the depths of his soul. Would he make the right choice? For her? For himself? The figure smiled, sharp and hungry. What will it be, Jeremiah? The question hung in the air, a chilling reminder of the stark reality he faced. And just as everything seemed poised to shatter, a piercing scream erupted from within the shadows. What now? He thought frantically, heart racing as he braced himself for the true test of courage ahead. How could he escape this web of darkness, shrouded in secrets and fear? What awaited him beyond that scream? The scream echoed like a shattering glass, piercing through the confines of the darkness, clawing at Jeremiah's consciousness. It was a sound of torment, filled with anguish, and it wasn't clear whose voice it belonged to. Was it Maya? Was it him? Or was it the echo of their shared past, a memory clawing its way into the present? Just then, the monstrous figure loomed closer, its shape distorted and grotesque, wriggling in the shadows. Do you hear it, Jeremiah? It crooned, its voice like nails on a chalkboard. The pain calls for you. You can't run from your history. It's written in blood and betrayal. Jeremiah felt the ground shift beneath his feet, the darkness vibrating with energy that pulsed through him. He could feel the weight of memories dragging him down, each a reminder of choices made, of innocence lost. No, he ground out, refusing to let the shadows sweep him away. Remembering his connection to Maya, he forced himself to stand tall. In the chaos, a flicker of light burst through the encroaching darkness, a reminder of moments of joy and connection cascading through his mind. He remembered laughter shared between him and Maya, the innocent adventures that lit up their childhood. Maya! Focus on the light. You're stronger than this. He shouted, grounding himself in those memories even as the shadows swirled like a raging storm around them. Suddenly, the growl deepened, vibrating through his bones. Your feelings are irrelevant, the figure hissed, its eyes glowing like embers. Give in. Embrace your darkness. It is the only way to save her. A pulse of shared pain shuddered through Jeremiah's heart. No. I won't give in. You're nothing but a reflection of my fears. But the shadows tightened their grasp, and a disorienting whirl of darkness drew closer. Jeremiah could taste the despair, thick and metallic, saturating the air. Then he noticed Maya struggling to rise, her body shaking as determination fought against despair. She reached for him, her eyes glistening with tears that glowed like tiny stars amidst the void. Jeremiah! You have to remember what it means to fight for us. The figure sneered, you're losing her, fool. Nothing can hold back the tide of darkness forever. Yet offer yourself, and perhaps she'll be spared. A cold sweat broke out on Jeremiah's forehead as he felt despair's grip tighten. But the fear of losing Maya ignited a fire in him. You'll never take me. I choose to face my demons, not to become one of them. The shadows flared violently, thrashing, and then, as if sensing his resolve, they recoiled momentarily. In that split second, he grabbed hold of Maya's hand. Together, we can fight this. Their fingers intertwined, and Jeremiah felt a surge of warmth and energy as something shifted. The darkness around them flickered with uncertainty. With a fierce cry, they pushed against the encroaching shadows, a wave of light radiating from their connect. But the figure screeched, cracking through the darkness like thunder. Fools! This is merely the beginning. You think you can defy what is meant to consume you? The shadows pulsated anew, swelling as if angered by their defiance. Just when Jeremiah thought they might escape, the earth beneath them split, revealing a chasm that beckoned them into oblivion. Heart racing, Jeremiah turned to Maya. Whatever happens next, we have to hold tight. She gave a determined nod, her grip firm. But just as they gathered their strength, the veil of darkness shattered before them, revealing visions from their past, moments of regret, paths taken, and choices long buried. Look! Maya shouted, pointing toward the swirling void. Those are our truths. We need to confront them now. A shriek resonated deeply within Jeremiah, and he felt the memories surge. Would facing these dark truths set them free or drag them back into despair? Together! He shouted, his heart pounding in response to the chaos swirling around them, eager for the confrontation to come. What truths awaited them beyond those haunting memories? And were they truly ready to face the darkness lurking just beneath the surface?
Jeremiah steeled himself, heart pounding like a war drum against his ribs. The chasm yawned before them, a swirling abyss that seemed to hum with the weight of their sins. With Maya's hand clasped tightly in his, their fingers felt like lifelines in the storm.
We have to remember. We have to choose.
He urged, pulling her toward the swirling memories. The air crackled with tension as the darkness thickened, revealing snippets of their past, a scene of laughter cut short, a heartbreaking goodbye, and the moment everything spiraled apart. Each vision ignited a painful nerve in Jeremiah. It felt like watching a slow-motion car crash, horrific yet impossible to look away from.
Maya. Remember the park? The swings?
He shouted, desperate.
We laughed until we cried. We can fight this.
Her eyes flickered with recognition, a subtle shift in the despair that gripped her.
Yes. I remember. We have to use that our hope. But the monstrous figure surged forward, its grotesque maw stretching wide in a terrible grin. Hope? A fragile thing, aren't you? It's too late for that. You will drown in your regrets. Jeremiah could feel the anger boiling up inside him, fierce and unyielding. No. We won't let you take us. He watched the figure ripple in the darkness as if shot with jolts of lightning. Every jibe, every spat of venom from the dark entity was meant to dig them deeper into hopelessness. Maya's face tightened with determination. We can shine brighter. Remember our promise, Jeremiah. We won't let anything pull us apart. Their shared memories spiraled into focus, illuminating the darkness with flickering light. The laughter, the dreams, the moments when they felt untouchable had burned bright, a beacon against the shadows. And within that light, revelations poured forth, each painful truth, each buried memory suddenly vivid as if they'd been waiting to be uncovered. Every choice we made, Jeremiah said, his voice stronger now, shapes who we are. We can't run from them. We confront them. We reclaim them.
With that surge of conviction, their lights began to weave together a tapestry of their history, woven with both joy and pain. It shimmered, casting aside the darkness momentarily. The figure writhed, losing its power.
You think this can save you? You don't understand what darkness truly is. Then show us. Maya cried, her voice fierce. We're not afraid of the truth anymore.
The ground rumbled violently as the entity shrieked, a sound that echoed deep within Jeremiah's bones. The memories churned violently, revealing darker images, betrayal, anger, and the pivotal moments that twisted their fates.
Discovering family secrets that led to their fractured childhood, choices that haunted Jeremiah like a specter in the night. What is this? He gasped. Why would we forget?
Because facing the truth can be terrifying, the figure hissed, its voice now a sinister whisper. But, once recognized, it holds the key to your liberation. You'll have to make a choice: embrace your past or be consumed by it. In that critical moment, Jeremiah felt his breath hitch. The faces of loved ones etched in their past spun before him, the anger, the heartache, it all laid bare like open wounds. Overwhelmed but resilient, Jeremiah turned to Maya.
No more running. Let us face everything together.
As they stepped forward into the chasm of swirling truths, a piercing light engulfed them, blinding yet warm, stirring dormant memories. Hope clashed with despair, each heartbeat resonated louder with every step deeper into the dark, but as they delved into the shadows, Jeremiah's heart raced with an underlying dread.
What if confronting their truths doomed them to repeat the past?
Would they find freedom or be locked in an endless cycle of pain? With that thought weighing heavy, they fell into the void of their choices, and the darkness loomed behind them, eager to consume. Would they emerge stronger or shattered by the weight of their revelations? The questions hung thick in the air, an undefined future spiraling ahead.
What was about to surface from the depths? What truths, buried and hidden, awaited them in the dark? The light swallowed them whole, blinding and ethereal, gently tugging Jeremiah and Maya through memories long forgotten.
As they floated through the void, the cacophony of voices, memories intertwined, echoed, forming a haunting chorus. The laughter faded into whispers, weaving through the air like a ghostly wind. Suddenly, they were pulled into a vision, a vivid recollection that struck Jeremiah like a blow to the gut. There he was, a child again, standing in front of their old home, its paint peeling like the bitterness of memory. A storm raged above, thunder rumbling ominously.
"Maya, look!" Jeremiah gasped.
In the doorway, a version of his younger self stood, trembling as his parents argued.
The fight escalated, drowning out the innocent laughter of his past. "Why can't you just see it my way, Ryan?" his mother shouted, tears glistening on her cheeks. "You're ruining everything." His father's voice boomed, laden with anger and betrayal. "You'll never understand. This is for their own good."
Jeremiah felt the weight of his small heart break over and over, his breath hitching as he watched the familiar scene unfold.
"I wanted to protect them, but I didn't have the strength," he whispered, his voice barely audible in the chaos. Maya touched his arm, grounding him. "We can change this. We can heal it."
But the shadow surged forward, its sinister grin whiter than ever.
"What a naive notion. You think you can rewrite the past? History bleeds, Jeremiah. Your family is forever torn."
The energy around them flickered, the air heavy with unspoken truth. The images shifted, fast-forwarding to a memory he buried deep, a betrayal that rocked his world. He was older now, in high school, facing a betrayal that had shattered their friend group.
"Why would you do that?"
he yelled at his best friend, Leo.
"We were like brothers. You don't get it. She wanted me." Leo's voice dripped with desperation. "You think you're the only one who suffered?
You two were consumed by your own selfishness."
A sharp pain pierced Jeremiah's chest. "No. I tried to be there for everyone." The dark figure laughed, twisted shadows dancing around it.
"Every truth you face only reveals more lies you've told yourself."
"Can you bear the weight of your own failures?"
Maya stepped closer, fire in her eyes.
"We are not the mistakes we made. They shaped us, but they do not define us."
Then the vision shifted again, sending them spiraling into a future they had never imagined. Flickering images of their adult lives appeared, Jeremiah sitting alone at a bar, nursing his drinks, while Maya's laughter sounded faintly across the room, too distant to reach.
"Maya! We can't let this happen!"
he shouted, heart racing, the weight of despair choking him.
"If we can see this, we can avoid it."
"Every choice we make matters," she replied fiercely, grasping his hand tightly.
"It's all linked, the love, the loss. We just need to learn and move forward."
The darkness transformed, morphing into a swirling mist of vibrant colors, threading through their past and future. Hope flickered alive in the air as they stood shoulder to shoulder, confronting what lay ahead.
But the sinister figure roared, "You think you've vanquished me? You only awaken the true darkness that lurks within." As the mist thickened, shadows stretched longer, wrapping around them like cold hands.
Just when Jeremiah thought he'd lose everything, a small glimmer of light broke free, illuminating his way forward.
"Together," he declared, voice clear. "We fight back."
But what if the path they were about to choose led to an even darker fate than the one from which they were trying to escape?
The chasm's edges widened, the shadows swirling with fierce intensity. What lay ahead? Would they emerge triumphant, or were they stepping into a trap laid by their own haunted past?
A pulse of dread surged through him as they prepared to leap into the unknown.
What unseen horrors awaited them just beyond the veil?
Jeremiah felt the familiar wretched pull of despair tighten around him as he and Maya plunged deeper into the swirling abyss. The colors exploded around them, bright and painful, flashing images of everything they had once loved and lost. Their laughter intermingled with screams, memories conflicting like a battlefield of joy and sorrow. The chaotic vortex spun faster, pulling them further into their own history, the echoes of their past taunting them with every heartbeat.
"Maya!"
he shouted, trying to find the light in her eyes amidst the chaos. "We won't let the darkness take us.
We know who we are." With each moment, shadows wrapped around them like heavy chains, yanking them back toward their deepest fears. But as he looked at Maya standing resolute beside him, something flickered inside. It was hope. Hope nurtured by their shared past and the undeniable connection they had fought to maintain. "Remember the swings?" Maya shouted, straining against the onslaught of shadows. "The way we used to fly? That feeling of freedom? Let us fly again. Jeremiah clenched his fists tightly around hers, summon up every ounce of strength in him. Together! He yelled, his voice breaking through the enveloping darkness. As if ignited by their conviction, the swirling chaos around them began to shift, the inhaling darkness hesitating in the face of their determination. Maya! He cried, we have to face the truth. About everything, the fire, the betrayals, the choices we made. Do it! Claim it! Stand tall! She urged, her own voice bolstered with newfound strength. The ground beneath them trembled, skulls of their past surfacing like specters, demanding recognition. The day of the fire, the moment of betrayal, the paths they chose that had led to loss. Jeremiah summoned their faces, the lost looks and smiles, and a tidal wave of guilt roared. He felt its weight press against his chest, a potent mix of grief and anger. What I did was wrong. He shouted, each word rupturing through the cacophony. But it doesn't define me. I want be consumed. At that moment, raw emotion flowed through him. He reached into the swirling maelstrom of memories and grasped hold of the moments they had shared, the laughter, the promises, the fresh starts. Each bright recollection fluttered to life like fireflies against the dark. They became a beacon in the storm. Jeremiah! Maya's voice pierced the swirling chaos. Our choices shape us, but they don't bind us. We can change. We can forgive. We can heal. With each proclamation, light burst forth around them, illuminating the shadows like the dawn breaking after a long night. The figure that haunted them twisted, screeched, and then roared as if pained, the energy shifting around it. The darkness could feel the light encroaching, gathering strength to push back against the very force that fed on fear. No and no. The monstrous figure cried out, its shadow constricting as the flickers of hope intensified, you will not escape. You will return to darkness where you were meant to be. But where despair once threatened to overtake him, Jeremiah now found himself swathed in absolute truth. You cannot take us. We are more than our shadows. We are hope, love, and determination. With a final roar of defiance, he and Maya charged forward, embracing the radiant light pooling before them, their hands lifting as if reaching outward into the cosmos. The aura burst into vibrant hues that shattered the remaining darkness into a million pieces, echoing the pain and sorrow but transforming it into something beautiful, something transcendent. As the shadows fell back, light enveloped them completely, and suddenly they were free. The chaos faded, leaving nothing but a warm embrace, a gentle luminescence that soothed the remnants of their past. Jeremiah looked around, eyes blinking in the warmth. They stood, unharmed, in the heart of the now peaceful forest. The air was crisp and fresh, and the oppressive heaviness had melted away. In the distance, the sun began to rise, casting golden rays across the world that birthed new beginnings. Maya turned to him, her eyes sparkling like freshly polished gems. We did it! She breathed, laughter bubbling from her lips. We faced it together. He pulled her into an embrace, feeling the warmth of their victory radiating between them. Yes, together, he murmured, no more running from our past. We choose our future. With the shadows finally behind them, they stepped out of the forest hand in hand, ready to reclaim their lives and the joys that awaited them. They had faced the darkness, confronted the truth, and emerged victorious. As they walked into the sunrise, the weight of regret lifted, replaced by promise. They were no longer defined by their mistakes but by the power of their choices moving forward. Hope crackled in the air, and with it bloomed new beginnings. And now, as they had illuminated the dark, it was time to embrace the light and share their story with the world. Do you see what they accomplished, breaking through the darkness and inviting hope into their lives? You need to subscribe now to this channel to follow more powerful stories of resilience and triumph. Smash the like button now to help us feed the algorithm and allow more people to discover this incredible journey. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about what it means to face our truth. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. They deserve the hope and inspiration that comes with every story shared. Your support fuels this journey. Let us keep shining the light.